am not gay. I am not gay. I am not gay. I am not gay.
Disclaimer before I even start this video. I am not Korean or any form of Asian. I do not speak Korean, so any sources I use were either created in English or translated. I am not even purporting myself as an expert on K-pop. This is just a video on my observations on a music video trend. Okay, now that that's out of the way, why am I making this video? First of all, as a gay myself who is very much so into women and feminine people, this kind of K-pop music video concept is right up my wheelhouse. Also, I do enjoy K-pop. I'm not like a rabid fan that's going to call you slurs if you don't like my bias though. I just like the music, the looks, and the dances. So here we are. Before we start talking about the music videos, we have got to talk about queerbaiting in K-pop. Queerbaiting is basically when characters in a show or movie, and in this case music videos, hint at either a queer relationship or a queer sexuality. Notably, non-cisgenders don't seem to be included in queerbaiting, but I could be wrong. If I'm right, this hints at the perception that being trans is still more taboo and not marketable, but I digress. These pieces of media hint at queerness, but they don't fully pull the trigger and make it canon. All the gay hype without the homophobic outrage. Now, as far as I can see, we're getting pretty sick of queerbaiting as a community. You know, we want canon, gay characters, and I completely agree. I also won't lie and say I don't enjoy a little queerbaiting from time to time. Frankly, I find straight people boring, so any attempt to gay it up is welcome to me. Anyway, let's dive into how this concept has affected the K-pop industry. So Korean record labels knew what many media giants know. Gay sells. So they began the process of queerbaiting marketing. They would encourage the shipping of members in both boy groups and girl groups. To scratch that fetishizing itch, they would also get these members to engage in skinship, which is basically little forms of physical intimacy to fuel queerbaiting. One example is games like Paper Kiss Game, where group members would pass a piece of paper between mouths, which, I mean gay. And since these groups are typically consisting of one cisgender, you can hear the gays and the fetishizers squeal for miles to come should the paper drop and an accidental kiss happen. Prefacing this again by saying, I'm not Korean, nor have I had the experience of being gay in South Korea, but from what I can ascertain from various sources, being gay is not widely accepted.
If I had to summarize the Korean perception with one word, it would be ignorance. But also, it's not like that the general public hate the LGBTQ community. Most people are just unaware that it exists and they just don't care about it. If you are transgender and you've already gone through operation, you can ask your gender to be changed in your official profiles. But you already have to have gone through a procedure.
한국에서 게이로 살아가기는 어떤가요?
동성혼이 아무래도 합법화가 안 돼 있으니까 그게 조금 안타까운 것 같아요. 최근 들어서 제 가족이 아픈 적이 있었어요. 근데 이제 보호자 역할을 하려면은 이제 혼인 관계가 되어야 하는데 동성혼이 이제 합법화가 안 돼 있으니까 우리 둘이 계속 사귀다가 형이 아파, 어디가 아파. 근데 내가 이제 형이 뭐 수술을 하거나 이런 상황이 있을 때 내가 사인을 해야 되는데 그런 것조차 할 수가 없고 이런 거가 좀 억울한 것 같아요, 그냥.
교육도 문제라고 생각하거든요. 교육을 초등학교, 중학교 이럴 때 교육을 같이 받았으면 좋겠어요. 왜냐면 학창 시절 때 깨달으시는 분들이 거의 절대 다수인데 그런 분들한테는 학교가 전부란 말이에요. 그분들한테 세계인 거고. 근데 그런 자기만의 세계에서 배척당하는 기분을 그 어린 나이에 받는다는 거는 처참하다고 생각하고
Homosexuality is not illegal in South Korea. Homosexual activity is illegal within the military, punishable by up to 2 years in prison. All men have to serve around 2 years within the military as part of the conscript system.
Being gay is legal, but you can't get married. Not that gay marriage equals no more oppression, and I can do a video on how homonormativity does not mean liberation. I mean, look at the US. But again, I digress. There are also no explicit laws saying you can't discriminate based on sexual orientation or gender identity. Again, you need not look further than America to see that such laws don't necessarily change the conditions that queer people live under. But I think these things are worth noting. So, you might ask, why is queerbaiting so prevalent in the K-pop industry if there is a bit of tacit homophobia in the country itself? Well, the answer is in the term itself. The gay shit in these videos is only bait to send the fans into a tizzy. There's never any danger that the idols themselves are actually gay, especially since K-pop labels are notorious for their control of idols' public and private lives to the point where relationships are not allowed. Also, K-pop is no longer a pretty insular phenomenon just appreciated in Korea. Now it's global, and there is money to be made from the fetishization of international fans. There is this racist notion that Asian men are not masculine or that they're inherently effeminate. I want to make sure y'all know that nothing is wrong with being a feminine Asian man, but there is a problem when groups are generalized. The effects of the stereotype are seen in American history.
Since the 1800s, when Asian immigrants began coming to America as cheap labor forces, Asian men have faced harsh discrimination, much of it directly sexual. Some laws prevented Asian men from owning property, which made you legally less of a man. Other laws barred them from heavy industry, which forced Asian men to take on traditionally feminine jobs like laundry and cooking, which led to the perceptions of Asian men being effeminate. But it gets worse. In 1882, Chinese immigrants were prohibited from entering the US altogether, which left hundreds of thousands of the Chinese men that were already here without the possibility of brides. Why? That's because due to anti-miscegenation laws, it was illegal for Asian men to marry white women in many states. On top of that, laws passed in the 1920s made it so that non-white women who married Asian men could lose their citizenship. This complex system of laws was a direct attack on Asian men's ability to marry and start families, thus emasculating them and making them less desirable to women.
And Asian women are stereotyped as submissive, hypersexual, and exotic. And I feel like I don't have to explain the common notion that lesbians or women who love women are sexualized.
Asian women in this country are more than desired. They're fetishized and exoticized. Heck, you've probably heard someone say something kind of like this. Bro, I totally have yellow fever and the only cure is more Asian chicks. Up top. This fetish for Asian ladies combines a presumed submissiveness with hypersexuality, all while imagining that Asian women are exotic, regardless of where they're from or what they're like as individuals. Don't believe me? Here's some things that have actually been said to my friend Lily.
I've never dated one of your kind before. They're more docile. They're just tighter.
I just want to insert that these ideas in the video seem to be specific to East Asian people, and I don't want to speak on the experiences of South Asian people without the proper research. So we have this cocktail of international fans pushing their biases on these idols and the labels feeding into it with queerbaiting to get that sweet, sweet coin. Maman was the first openly gay K-pop idol. She debuted in 2007, originally under the stage name Magalpi. For her debut, she was under Jerry Entertainment. Pretty quickly after her debut, Maman came out as a lesbian in an interview. So Jerry Entertainment wanted to play it off like it was a prank, but that didn't work, so they dropped her. She has since found a new company, but she's been inactive since 2015. So we can see that it was not easy to actually be gay in the K-pop industry, and it's not like it's that much better now. There aren't that many openly gay K-pop idols because of the strain that it can have on their career. Alright, now that we've gone over the history of queerbaiting in K-pop, we can finally get into the music videos. Today we're going to look at what I am calling the dark lesbian aesthetic in K-pop music videos. There tend to be two types of these queerbaiting concepts, at least with girl groups, as that will be my main focus. The first type is the bubblegum pop, bright lesbian concept that's very femme and cute, like Heart Attack by Chu of Luna. Then the type that I'm most interested in is this kind of gothic lesbian concept that will often have some kind of killer aspect, like the videos that I will be discussing. I believe the dark lesbian aesthetic evolved from or is a branch of the girl crush concept. Blackpink are probably the most universally known K-pop girl groups that use this concept. Girl crush basically means that the members are being confident and mature. It usually has an edgier look that is similar to that of the dark lesbian. Other notable girl crush artists are 21, Hyuna, and Mamamoo. So we're going to start with what I view as the gay aunt to the dark lesbian concept that's really taken off in the current generation of K-pop. Abracadabra by Brown Eyed Girls. This video came out in 2010 and was super popular. With this comeback, they deliberately wanted to be sexy bad girls. To date, this music video has the most views on the Brown Eyed Girls YouTube channel with 38 million views. So we're starting with Narsha's hand attaching what seems like a bomb or some other similar device to this man's chest. Her dress is scrunched up and her hair messy like they've spent the night together. If your heterosexual alarm bells are ringing, I see you, I hear you, just trust me. Then we see the same man with Gain. And the lyrics give us an insight into the story the music video is telling. In English, they're singing, "Every night I'll be with you. Do you love her? Do you love her? Every day I dream of you. Do you love me? Do you love me?" So we get the sense that this man is dating both Gain and Narsha, but this isn't like consensual polyamory. He's for sure cheating. Then in the middle, we have this very homosexual scene of them dancing. There's a lot of this kind of stuff in my later examples, you know, ladies touching ladies all over their body. That good old queerbaiting stuff. Then we see this device that Narsh placed on the guy has killed him. Period, queen. And she struts over to Gain, puts this purple heart in her mouth, and we get this almost kiss between Narsh and Gain. Attention, attention. Lesbian behavior. Or bi behavior, or just sapphic behavior. Any way you slice it, the gays won. There's a theory that that love heart is a poison pill that Narsh means to share with Gain, but the symbolism in that is not pertinent to the aim of this video, so we move. Okay, so how is this video the gay on to the dark lesbian aesthetic? The first clear aspect is the lesbian behavior between members. That is key when it comes to this particular aesthetic. We have the dance scene and the end with the almost kiss. Some say that kiss is the first of its kind in K-pop music videos. I have not fact-checked that, but if it's true, then this video has paved the way for the gay stuff the girlies are doing now. Also, the tone and cinematography of the video is very dark and gritty. This is a very 2010 dark, so it kind of looks straight out of Hot Topic, but that was what we were working with at the time, so we'll accept it. The clothes and makeup is kind of emo and goth, especially Gain in the dance scenes. So we've looked at this older example. Now let's look at how the dark lesbian aesthetic has evolved and really become polished. We're going to look at 3 Red Velvet music videos because they really love to play with the gays and take our money, and I'm not mad about it. We're going to start with Peekaboo, which came out in 2017. And once again, we see that it pays to be gay, with this being one of their most viewed music videos with 195 million views. Let's get into it. So it starts out with them literally wearing rainbows. From left to right, we have Joy, Wendy, Yeri, Irene, and Sulgi. Plus, they look like they're going to kill you, and we cut to a full moon, and the moon is pretty sapphic. I mean, there's Celine or Luna, the goddess of the moon. Plus, witches have some sort of reverence to the moon. Speaking of witches, hold on to that thought. And the intro ends with some lovely foreshadowing with that pizza boy in distress. Then we have the gals being pals in these red outfits, very at home on a dark academia mood board. Even though it's daytime, they're asleep, so they're out of step with normal society. I'm gay. Then we get Irene and Seulgi messing around with a straight blade, which results in Seulgi getting cut. Then Irene moves like she will slit Seulgi's throat, so we get a sense of the dangerous games that these ladies play. Okay. These outfits with their little red crowns definitely screams the occult to me. Especially with their synchronized movements all facing toward the camera, it kind of feels like a spell is being placed on us. Then we have Yeri seducing straight boy number 567, aka our pizza boy from the intro. The other girls ominously look at the pair, letting us know that they don't just plan on eating pizza. They're also once again in their rainbow outfits, as if to signal that nothing heterosexual is happening here. Then we have Red Velvet running in their house, and there are these polos in display boxes. Plus more witchy, creepy vibes. The fast cuts on the head turns on these two shots are especially creepy. We also see these piles of pizza boxes, so we know they're pros at this, and they've been doing it for a while. Then Yeri is in this beautiful asymmetrical white gown with like a black thigh-high or tight and a black and white athletic knee-high sock. She's in front of these beautiful bookcases with these great vintage books and, oh yeah, deadly weapons. This came out first, but it's very dark academia meets Knives Out meets Ready or Not. And we have Irene in front of this moving painting, proving that there's a bit of double bubble boiling trouble happening in that house. Then there's target practice using each other. These gals love their murder games. Side note, Seulgi looks so hot in this scene. More occult scenes. This time red candles harkening back to the red outfits surrounding Joy as the other members circle her in some kind of ritual. Now it's Pizza Boy on the piano and he is terrified, which, okay, straight boy, if BIPOC girls were circling me in rainbow outfits, I would just say thank you. Aw, Pizza Boy looks so happy here. But the girls are bored because they're gay, and they know, like you and I know, that straight people are boring. And they're playing with him like a predator might play with its food. But then it's game time, emphasis on gay. They have their weapons to get this man, who it looks like is crying. But everyone knows male tears just make Sapphic stronger, so... Red Velvet gives him this fantasy of being saved by one of them, playing into his straight desires. And we see on this phone booth that tons of delivery boys have been reported missing, probably due to our faves. Finally, one of the members, I think Irene based on the clothes, gets out of the car and gets him, and his shirt joins their display cases. A win for the girls, and the gays, and especially the gay girls. Okay, so let's go over the key aspects that make this video part of the dark lesbian aesthetic. We had some subtle hints to gayness through the clothes and the violence towards men. There's a little bit of flirty touching, but this video wasn't as sensual as my next example. Also, let's look at their clothes. Very witchy, very creepy. They do play with color, but a lot of the styling is to play into either gayness or the occult. The set is like this old European-esque house, so we get that dark academia vibe, and the violence and witchcraft seals the deal. This video is a big example of the dark lesbian aesthetic has grown into. There will be witchy vibes and or murdery vibes, and a general sense of lesbian behavior. Peekaboo in particular is kind of like modern gay The Beguiled. It's also partially inspired by Scooby-Doo, and we already know a cool lesbian from that series. We're going to stay with Red Velvet and check out Bad Boy, which came out a year later in 2018. I believe it is Red Velvet's most viewed video with 306 million views, and hoo boy, will we see why. We start out with Red Velvet in these outfits that are very reminiscent of The Craft, which is an iconic witch movie from the 90s that has always felt sapphic to me. And the first of the sexy sleepover shots. I believe Irene and Seulgi are the ones in bed together looking gay. like a lot of that. This book scene has very much gay witch book club energy, and there's also this pinkish red light silhouetting them as they hold weapons in a similar scene to Peekaboo. They even burn a camera, which is the kind of destructive tomfoolery that is welcome in these videos. Maybe the camera symbolizes others' ability to take control of one's body through images. I don't know. Brain empty. Just gay thoughts. The girls use and play with destructive devices in this video a lot. Flames have come up a couple times, and also a gun. There's also what looks to be a white cake being dripped with a red mirror glaze that really evokes blood. I mean, do I have to say anything? My god, these bitches gay. And what better way to end than with a gay slumber party? Like I said before, this music video gave me very much the craft. This video is less plot driven and more based on vibes, but it is iconic nonetheless, and the numbers don't lie. Viewers like homosexual activity. This video builds upon the femme fatale who's actually a lesbian, and probably a witch concept that runs the dark lesbian aesthetic. Like they would probably kill you, but in a hot way, so it's okay. This video is also like super queerbaity. We have Red Velvet singing about seducing a bad boy, but the video shows them being way more into each other. I mean, there's no men to be seen, and thank God for that. Final stop on the Red Velvet train is Monster, which was released for the subunit consisting of only Irene and Seulgi, who, I might add, are the two who have been doing the most gay stuff in these music videos. Monster came out in 2020 and already has 88 million views. Let's get into it. I mean, we start out with Seulgi crawling toward Irene seductively, and if that doesn't give you hot sleep paralysis demon, then I don't know what to tell you. Then we have Irene and Seulgi and these various embraces. Seulgi's hair is messier, her eye makeup is heavier and darker, and her clothes and accessories are more creepy than Irene's, who's more slicked back and composed. If we go with the interpretation that Seulgi is the monster inside of Irene, then it looks very Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde to me. But then again, I've always thought Jekyll and Hyde could be about a closeted man, so gayness prevails. There's also these creepy bedroom scenes where they're just kind of like porcelain dolls. Seulgi is up at the window while Irene sleeps, like she's a ghost or demon or spirit of some sort. In this scene, it looks like Irene is doing her arts and crafts like a good girl would, and Seulgi is maybe jealous or resentful or both of her ability to fit in. And then it cuts to Seulgi tempting Irene to give in to her dark side. Hot girls with guns in churches! This stained glass definitely evokes a holy environment, while the altar that Seulgi is at suggests pagan witchcraft, which you'll note is kind of a staple in the dark lesbian aesthetic. More gay embracing. Then we have Seulgi dip Irene, whose face turns into that of a demon or monster. The music video has been setting up Seulgi as the monster between the two, but this moment suggests that Irene is just better at hiding it. Possibly can be interpreted as being closeted. Now when we get this really close almost kiss, we go into these really fast cuts that have hands writhing in silhouette against a red screen, which evokes tortured souls in hell in my mind. And I believe Seulgi is holding a bloody teddy bear, which symbolizes a killing of innocence. And Seulgi is also against the same red screen as the tortured souls from before. Maybe that's why she is more disheveled in appearance. Her monster, maybe her gay feelings, is tormenting her. This looks very much like bylighting. Okay, I love that song and music video so much. Let's go over what makes it fit into the dark lesbian aesthetic. First of all, the storyline of Seulgi kind of seducing Irene to the dark side is so perfect. Like, that's the stuff I want injected into my veins. I've heard theories that the music video is based on Carmilla, which, who knows, but I see it. If you don't know Carmilla, it's basically about a young girl who captures the affections of a female vampire, which mirrors the relationship seen between Seulgi and Irene. Also, the old-timey clothes and the doll scenes call back to the 19th century when Carmilla was published. Also, the outfits in the whole music video are very gothy. The beginning outfits are sleek and black and sexy. Special note to Seulgi's eye makeup, which definitely brings the dark to dark lesbian. Then there's the doll scenes where they look like creepy twin dolls, very The Shining. That horror element is pretty instrumental to the aesthetic. There's also the sexy military-esque costumes with hot goth backup dancers, and finally hot goth business women. And of course the gay antics seal the lesbian part. Okay, the penultimate music video that we're going to look at, we're going to assess Girls by Nature, the uncensored version, because I like gore. It came out in June of 2020 and has amassed over 2 million views as of recording, so it is their second most viewed music video. Let's go! Also, fair warning that I just found out about this group for this video, so I'm not sure of all their names yet, but I'll do my best. This opening kind of gives me goth Cecil Hotel or Stanley Hotel, which is a good start. Bloody tables, so we know we're in for a horrorcore video. This scene is so hauntingly beautiful. The scissors give a sense of danger and anxiety, while the pinkish chiffon curtains evoke a womb. Then there's the red string that is reminiscent of blood and viscera. And in the center, we have this old looking wardrobe or something that just looks like a ghost is gonna pop out. Girl in a white nightgown and a dirty old bathtub screams horror. White sheets over top is classic ghost costume. Then this is definitely reminiscent of The Shining. The blood that Sebum is lying on looks like red glass, maybe with little red crystals scattered about. It brings an opulence and class to the gore, which I really like. Then we see who I think is Lou in that creepy wardrobe from before. There seems to be blood on the white dresses in there with her, which suggests that she had gone on a stabbing spree, possibly with the scissors surrounding her. Even so, she doesn't look powerful. Her physicality is kind of like that of a little girl who's in distress. This scene is super interesting. Haru is on like a throne above the madness of the topsy-turvy chairs. Surrounding her are apples, maybe evoking sin like in the Bible, and bears tied with red ribbon or yarn. We have the same juxtaposition as throughout the whole music video of cute things surrounded by gore and horror. Innocence is tainted. This scene between Sebum and Haru gives me gay vibes. Here we have Sunshine on the steep red floor with broken wine glasses all around her, and she's holding this piece of broken mirror that she uses to look at us indirectly in this beautifully haunting way. Whoa, that stuff is pretty scary, not gonna lie. This shot of Chaebin is so creepy. I love it. Okay, so here's when you really get the sense that the other members are just in Chaebin's head or are ghosts that only she can see. They surround her covered in white sheets, then they're walking as Chaebin looks visibly distressed. That's gay. Sohee then Uche, I think, caress or attempt to caress Chaebin, but they can't or something stops them from fully committing to it. Internalized homophobia on Chaebin's part, mayhaps? Then we have Sunshine looking at Chaebin in this group therapy / AA setup, and poof, she's gone. Then one by one the other girls come in and sing. And Sebum is now trying to caress Chaebin. Then Sebum disappears into Chaebin after they do this kind of little walk. And someone now tries to kill Chaebin with scissors. Then Chaebin is blindfolded as Lou lurks in the closet behind her. Now even Sunshine is trying to choke out Chaebin. Yes, Scream Queens, the pure white nightgowns are stained with blood, which gives the same innocence lost vibe as the gory teddy bears. And Chabin eventually loses it. She can't keep up the facade of normalcy. This crawl definitely gives me Seulgi in the Monster music video. Then the end is just one horrific scene after another. Not going to lie, this song and music video kind of made me a fan. Apparently this music video is based on A Tale of Two Sisters, which is a South Korean psychological horror drama about a girl with DID, but one of her alters is her dead sister, who is actually a ghost. I mean, we can have the conversation about the demonizing of DID and other mental illnesses, but that's not what this video is about. Anyway, this music video definitely gave me Peekaboo from Red Velvet and Russian Roulette, which we don't look at in this video, but it's more upbeat, girls trying to kill each other video. This is the horror side of the dark lesbian aesthetic. Okay, we're going to finish up with my favorite MV in the video. It is Oh My God from I-dle. This is like the epitome of the dark lesbian aesthetic in K-pop, and I really hope we see more stuff like this. Let's go. Okay, so we're starting out with Minnie in this stark white environment being dragged by two men. I mean, that could be a comment on the oppressive forces of the patriarchy. Minnie looks like she's in distress, but it's not panicked. It's almost like she's resigned. Then we cut to the obligatory beautiful gore shot. God, I love the cinematography in this video. We also see a figure, assumedly Minnie, writhing in this like red womb. She's also shown to be trapped in this wine glass as it's getting filled. The deep red contrasts against her white clothes, and it's like she's getting consumed by her intoxicating surroundings. Then we cut to Soyeon wiping what looks like blood off her lips, but is also reminiscent of the wine in the Minnie scene. It's like Minnie was being tempted and Soyeon partook, like Persephone with Hades' pomegranate seeds. Soyeon is in the same setting that Minnie was being dragged in. She's in more control of her body though, but it seems she's erratic, like she's high on something. We have Yuchi in this beautifully ornate hallway, intercut with this silhouetted female figure glowing in red. She's surrounded by hands reaching to her in worship. Soyeon stands gazing in awe. Yuchi stumbles as she's drawn to the red goddess's alluring force. Miyeon sits high in a set that feels heavenly. It's a complete opposite from the hell-like imagery shown previously. She's dressed in white and illuminated like an angel. Yuchi is drawn to Miyeon as well, and Miyeon drops a golden goblet of wine that takes us back down to hell with the sinners. Soyeon is in the center with these creepy figures. Their faces are covered and their hands are colored black like soot. Remember that. The whole scene is red like our other hell scenes prior. The combination of the choreography, lyrics, and music make this section seem orgasmic. First, Soyeon sings, "Oh my God, she took me to the sky," in an ecstatic revelry with her fellow sinners. Then we go to Minnie, who is still in the stark white setting, and she sings, "Oh my God, she showed me all the stars." It seems like those sinners are convincing her to descend with them. Now we get a glimpse of our demonic goddess. Soojin looks so good. I mean, they all do. Come on. But this blonde is so good on her. The red nails tied to the red that has previously enveloped her in other scenes, and the black that symbolizes her influence. She's drawing us in. The light makes her look so tantalizing. You can understand why Soyeon is so happy to be among Soojin's followers. Purple is also part of her color story. Purple has typically signified royalty, so this may be a signal that she's important and powerful. The black lace dancers writhe behind her in celebration of her beauty. She's being flashed with lights the color of the rainbow. Gay. Even though Soyeon has been having a great time, this descent to hell has also been a descent into madness. She even says, "Is it a call from hell?" But she can't stop. How could I get away from her? She's trapped in between barbed wire with no safe place to go. My theory is that this black and white scene is a flashback to when Soyeon first saw Soojin. She's amazed by her beauty. On the screen for a second, we see the words, "Oh God, I was a prisoner of my reason. I wanted to set me free through salvation. No God, there's no need for divine love anymore because I'm no longer a prisoner." To me, I interpret this as like, my brain was telling me not to follow my heart. I thought I could free myself from the pain of this by being good and following God, but that's not true. I can allow myself to do what I want, and then I don't need God to love me anymore. This is what a lot of queer people feel when up against the homophobia of Christianity. Yes, there are gay people who remain religious, but there are also those who cast off a religion that would make them deny their pleasure. Neither path is right, but the latter, a descent into quote-unquote sin, seems to be what Soyeon chooses. At the end of her rap, she embraces the pain of her choice by running her hands on the barbed wire and even licking it. The pleasure overwhelms the pain. Mian is kind of disgusted by the lechery of Soojin's followers as she watches them from her throne. And Yuchi falls from where she was worshipping Mian like a fallen angel, Lucifer-type tease. This fall from grace is shown in the red, now added to her eye makeup, and the red on her nails. At the end of this fall, we get another climactic chorus where Soojin is in the center, and the rest of the members dance in a chevron behind her. Plus the lights flash rainbow, so gay. It's like Soojin is reveling in the power that gaining a new follower has gotten her. Then Minnie stands up and her hand has turned black like the faceless sinners that we've seen before, and she forms a gun and shoots herself with her blackened hand. It's like she's killing her old self, the one still holding on to piety. Soojin is also holding a white apple. The whiteness conceals the sin, like when the devil convinced Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge. The wine spills and turns to blood as we see Minnie with her makeup much darker. Her lips are now the same purple that confirmed Soojin's power. She's fallen. Then Shuhwa comes as a purifying force. The devotees at her feet do not have the black hands characteristic of Soojin's followers. She claims that power of purple for herself, as seen in the lighting. Then, she's behind that same barbed wire from Soyeon's scene, and that doesn't bode well. But she still looks angelic, so maybe... And there's Soojin with her gay lighting. She whispers, and we cut to Soyeon finally reaching out to Soojin in the flashback. We cut in between Shuhwa and Soyeon falling for Soojin as Soojin whispers, "Ab imo pectore." And it flashes on the screen as Soojin and her followers dance as they are silhouetted with a red background. That's from the bottom of my heart in Latin, essentially. I'm taking it as Soojin's seduction. Then Soyeon is reborn. She's in mud or clay, and various religions think or mythologize that humans come from clay. She's been born anew from Soojin's love, and it looks like it feels good. Soojin is loving all of this, obviously. We return to Minnie. On the ground, the aftermath of her decision to fall is being reckoned with. Her clothes are dirtied like the faceless sinners, and she curls into the fetal position. She wakes up in the mud, reborn like Soyeon with her dark makeup gone. She's not as ecstatic as Soyeon, but the end seems to hint at her finding pleasure in her chosen path. Wow, that was long. Sorry, I just really love that music video, and there is so much to unpack. In an interview with MTV, Soyeon said that the music video is inspired by isekai anime, which shows a character transported between worlds. And she said that it shows love in its many forms. She also said, quote, "I didn't want to limit that she to a certain being or a certain definition, so it's open to anything. I believe that all kinds of love are valuable and must be respected. That's why I don't want to limit she to something specific," end quote. So all in all, this is a win for the gays. I feel like I don't need to explain why this is the dark lesbian aesthetic. Like, if you don't get it now, I don't know what to say. But I will make a little checklist for y'all to use to see if a K-pop video fits the dark lesbian aesthetic. This is a two-parter, and you need to at least check one box from each part. For the dark part, you need at least one of these: gore, horrorcore, dark academia, witch vibes, or murder vibes. For the lesbian part, you need at least one of these: no men involved, gay touching, gay lyrics, lesbian plot, or killing men. Okay, that's all I have for you. I hope you had fun in this video and maybe got exposed to groups or songs that you didn't know before. I love this aesthetic and wanted to share my appreciation for it. If you know any other videos that fit it, please comment below. If you like this video, and comment. Please subscribe. Feel free to check out my socials in the description. My sources are also down there, along with links to each of these music videos. Thanks!